All right, this will be the trade review for December 20th, 2019. Um, also, for whoever may be actually reviewing this, I am going to publicly put this on my channel for my viewers, so I do want to talk about important things I want to point out to the viewers of my channel. So this video can be a little bit longer, although it is a very good trade review. So let's go ahead and jump into it. I believe today was the cutoff for the December contract, the expiration for the December contract for the E-mini. Of course, volume was split between the March and the December contract. So for today, the thickness has returned to what I deem normal, and volume traded at a level to where I thrive. So for those of you who watch my channel, my style of trading, my scalping, there are certain setups I do look for that do tend to play out day after day. However, when it comes to raw scalping, I am looking for particular stock zones. And when I say stock, I'm not talking about like the stock market. I mean stalking, like you're stalking your prey. You're looking for the kill. So there's particular prices that are my stock zones, meaning I'm going to fucking try to make a kill once the price reaches that area. And you're going to see a good example of that. You're going to see the market is going to be trading in such a way that it's trading in such a way that I can continue to make really good decisions and really good scalps. It just today worked out very well for me. Very confident I was in the zone. Usually I can only take so many pitches before I get fatigued, and when I say pitching, I do like to refer to trading almost like baseball. The pitcher does get fatigued after so many throws, and there is an intense amount of focus that goes into this. And in this particular trade review, you're going to see how intense it can be. And honestly, scalping the way I scalp is not for everybody. Not everybody's going to have the talent to be able to do this, because you really have to process a lot of information in the matter of seconds, if that. So I trade what the market tells me, and this is going to be probably one of the more interesting trade reviews. So I had a pretty bad day yesterday, a lot of errors on my behalf. So yesterday was pretty bad. So after yesterday's defeat, I was only up 2 ticks for the week, which I fought very hard to get to where I was for the week. Well, today was redemption, and today was the best trading day of the week. And it just worked out so easily. A lot of what I'm looking for just worked out. Yesterday, what generally works for me didn't work. It just wasn't my day yesterday. The market wasn't trading in a fashion that I can thrive in. Today was perfect. If every day was like today, and keep in mind I only traded the afternoon today. Generally Friday afternoons are pretty bad, but this turned out to be pretty good. So let's jump into it. We'll go ahead and jump in this first trade. It's nice to hit a good trade. It's nice to hit a winner on the first trade. That's always a great way to start off the trading day. Of course, this trade is the longest one. At 11 minutes and 51 seconds, it's a long. It went against me too. It went in my favor 3. Let's go ahead and... yes. So this particular trade, I realized I had made a big mistake. So for the last few days, I've been complaining in my trade reviews that my tape, for some reason, I'm seeing market orders flow in on the DOM and large market orders, but my tape wasn't picking it up. And I really just, that could have been an issue for what happened yesterday, was my tape wasn't picking up these orders that were flowing in. Turned out my tape was was on the December contract, and I'm trading the March contract. So everything I saw on the tape was for a completely different contract period. And I do owe it to the tape for taking a lot of the trades you see today. So the tape is very important. I'm incorporating it more and more within my trading. And my skills of reading the order flow, the bid ask, and the tape and all that, being able to process all that information, it's getting pretty good. A lot of screen time to get here, but you're about to see some pretty impressive stuff. So I accidentally put 2 contracts in here. So this first trade is a lot of fumbling around. So let's give you a little context. The market's pretty flat. It's set at 18 seconds, but it's very dead. So there was a lot of sitting around with nothing to do. I'm not going to trade this market until it hits my stock zones, which right here is a stock zone. So we were up here. We're coming back down. And then you notice this high volume edge here. This is my stock zone. I know that this is going to act as major support. You can see we went through it by 1 tick. Generally, and I'm also looking for a volume edge or a bell curve edge fade trade. I don't have the name for this particular play, but this is a playbook I'm developing for this type of trade that I want to get really good at. Basically, this is the bell curve. Obviously, it's completely incomplete. But I can see in the future that this bell curve is going to build up at some point. So it's not textbook looking. It's in the process of being built. This is all-time highs. We definitely, as my voice gets higher, we definitely are really pushing highs here for the last 2 days. We keep having these breakouts to all-time highs. So this is really the unknown in the way the profile is going to form. So really I can't lean on any previous profiles. So looking at a top-down approach is kind of tough to do. So really I got to trade what I'm seeing here on the profile now. And as you can see, there's this massive high volume edge. So I know this is definitely going to be hard to get through. And I know that there's a higher probability that if we come through it by 1 tick, it's going to get rejected and it's going to pull up to at least this point of control at 26.75. So that's the play I'm looking for. And you can see that there's another high volume edge here, the VWAP, and a very low node. And watching it trade through here is going to be interesting. The profile is just interesting looking here, especially this low node. So a lot of my trades are going to be around in here as well. So it's quite fun to see. And if you really look at it, the bell curve is here. You can follow my mouse, and it comes down to here. So this is going to get filled in, and it does get filled in at near the end of the day. So I can just see that happening. This happens a lot, is where you see this profile. There'll be a low node and then another profile, almost like a double distribution, kind of like a B shape. What you'll see is it'll cross this low node, and yes, that'll be a good play for the first time it crosses through it again. I mean, obviously it came up here and created this low node, but the first time we cross a low node on the way down, it's going to come up to 2375 here. It's going to get stuck. I know this is going to be a hard area to get through. And it's going to start crossing back and forth across this low node, and it's just going to eventually get filled in. But the first time you trade it, it's usually a good trade. But this happens a lot, and this is just a pattern I've seen over the years of just sitting here. When you have a low node like this and the profile is just somewhat shaped like this. So let's get into the trade. Notice my tape's not working. I'm like, why is my tape not working? Actually, I didn't even notice it until I wanted to enter the trade. Generally, I don't really look at anything till we hit a particular area on the profile. So I do want to get in here. I just need to see how it's going to react on the order flow here at this edge. Now, just because it crossed the edge doesn't mean it's going to hold up as support. Wait, is this the first trade? Yeah, this is the first trade. So this is why I didn't go for it right away. It just immediately gets blasted down. Where does it stop? Right on that low node. You got this little higher node at 25.25. So I do want to make a trade in here. I'm just not sure. I know this is going to be a fade. I know there's a high probability it's going to pull back in on the bell curve. So I just switched it to live. So I'm trying to get in here. I want to get in on this higher node because I know the price is going to get trapped on it. And you notice here that I'm like trying to figure out what's going on with the tape. I need the tape. I'm trying to figure out how to get the ticker symbol in there. And it's not good to be sitting in a trade trying to figure this out. And I don't get the fill on there. It's going back up. I'm like, shit, I'm going to miss the trade. But I'm also trying to get this tape working. And then I ended up getting filled on 2 contracts, which I didn't want to do. So now I'm in 2, and I'm like, oh, shit. So this is all bad things happening right off the bat. I'm looking to get out on this high volume edge because I know this is going to be a problem getting back through it. You can see it held up for a while and then it just blasted through it. Of course, it bounces off the low node. So this is support and resistance, but you know, it's only temporary. It's only going to hold up for so long. And that's the thing, is with the profile, depending on how it looks, its structure, it is structure for how the market's going to trade. It is the reason why the market gets hung up in certain areas. It's because there's either a high or low node or something, but the support and resistance zones are only going to last for so long. But the thing is, I know that they have, depending on how big they are, like this is a large one, I know that it has a higher life expectancy of holding up versus a lower node like this. So obviously I'm covering the trade here. I really want the frickin' tape. And the reason I want the tape is because I clear out these market orders all the time, and I want to see blocks. I want to see the individual orders flowing in. And I constantly am clearing out these market orders because I need it to manage my trade. It's just I need a fresh view, because once all the numbers start stacking up, it doesn't matter anymore. It's done. I want to see the fresh stuff that's flowing in. So, you know, this 172 and this 126. I don't care about that anymore. That's old news already. I need to clear it out and get a fresh view on stuff. And the tape helps me see exactly how aggressive one side's being versus the other. And you'll see that, you'll definitely see that here in later trades. So, of course, I'm holding here because we are on the low node. I'm a bit nervous, actually, at this point because I got two in at two different prices. So I'm trying to figure that out. You can see I dragged it to the other screen. I'm trying to desperately figure out, because it looks like it's going to hold here. You got size pushing in. I'm desperately trying to figure out how do I get this damn thing to work. And it's not in the settings. It's the magnifying glass, which right there. So I type in the new symbol, the March contract, and that was my problem for the last few trading days. This was showing me, because all the market orders on the DOM would flow in, and I would see hundreds of contracts come in, and the DOM wouldn't, or the tape wouldn't show it, and I'm like, what's going on? Because I have a filter where it only shows 20 and above. Anything under that, it won't show me because I don't really care about 1 lots, 5 lots. And I kept thinking, is these large traders breaking all their shit up to be hidden on the tape? So now I have the tape. Now I feel complete. I have the tools I need for the job. This 414's looking nice. Again, this trade lasts a while. It's currently 105. It goes to... We're going to have to fast forward this, because this goes on for a while. Nice fat blue blocks. I love big blocks for whatever side I'm on. Again, if you don't know what blocks are, blocks will come up in a slightly different color, showing me 100 or more orders. That's what I call a block order. So in theory, this trade, this particular playbook play that's happening right now is a fade off the bottom of the bell curve, because theoretically, if this was a little more built up in here, and I expect it to stall in here. I expect these lower nodes to fill in a little bit before we push back up. But this is just the way the profile's set up. It's a little tricky in here, but for the most part, it's an easy read for me. Of course, volume slowing down. It will get way more volatile as we progress through my other trades, which is great news for me because I like trades to be quick. So we're going to kind of watch this until it goes in my favor. A little bit. You got that block of red. It's not good, but we still have large size defending here. Naturally, there's going to be an iceberg here taking in a lot of this. This node's building up, which is kind of a good thing because it's going to act as a magnet, and that's the price I'm in. So it's going to be flip-flopping between 25.50 and 25 even, and that's what it does. It is when you got a high node with two low nodes on both sides, it tends to flip-flop. And the bigger node is magnetic for a little bit, not forever, but it's enough to give me the opportunity to break even or take more of a minimal loss if things stop working out. Generally, higher nodes are nicer entries for certain trade setups. So I do like to get in on those higher nodes. Tape's getting nice and blue here. I'm loving it. Loving it. So let's see it flip up. 14. I need this to go to 14. It's at 08. So we're going to go in the future just a little bit because, I mean, it's really... And I'm holding firm on this. You can see that so it blips up here. You can see I'm kind of waiting in the queue here, but I'm also willing to cancel this off. Because I know this is a high volume edge, so like getting into it might prove to be difficult. So it kind of makes sense to get it here. But I'm going to cancel it off if this 339 starts to pull off and I see aggressive buyers come in. So we'll kind of watch it from this point forward. This is the longest trade. So you can see I have 3 areas. I want this 2650 because that's sort of the point of control. In this particular setup, obviously it's not the VPOC. It's down here at 2150. But it really depends on the order flow and the tape, because I can only predict what's happening in the next few seconds. I usually can only predict what may happen. So this is absorption right here. You can see 468 traded in here, and this ask is low. So they're iceberging the order right here. They're willing to absorb what the aggressive buyers are going to throw at them. So in theory, this should get rejected and go all the way up to the top and test the top, and that's exactly what happens. Unfortunately, I missed that opportunity, so this is going to have to go in the playbook. So really, I set myself up for the best move of the session for me, and I don't take much out of it. So that's very unfortunate, because this is one of my playbook plays, and I just needed more patience in it. But this high volume edge just really is a little bit nerve-wracking, because this profile just isn't what I'd like to see. So here we go. You can see that's not pulling off, but then again, you have down ticking. It needs to come up, stall here, and then we'll see if that pulls off. So I got the mouse kind of in the corner because I'm willing to get out here or cancel the order, and I need to be quick on either one. And I have a cancellation button, but it would take me out of all of these, and I just want to take that one off, so I have to use the mouse. So the tape is beautiful and blue for the most part. I'm loving that. Strength meter's in my favor, although I did recently reset it. Stochastics are overbought, but actually they're oversold. The 1 and the 5 are oversold for sure. For some reason that the 3 is gray. I'm not sure if it's probably oversold as well. Beautiful block. So we got 1 minute until I exit the trade here. I got 300 on my entry, which I'm loving. It needs to test that 25.75, and we're staying on the top end of this high node, which is good for me. That's a good sign. Again, this larger node where my entry is, again, on my other contracts in at 25.50, so theoretically this would be a 1-tick win plus a break even. I really don't want that, but then again, I can only take what the market's giving me. Here it is, testing my price. I love it. The bid is pretty firm. It's about even. Yes, the ask is slightly larger, but it's okay. They're pretty close. I like that. You can see I'm getting ready to cancel that because I just need to see what may happen. Now my bid's pulling off ever so slightly. And it's just not. There it goes. I get out. I get out. So a 1-tick win and a 2-tick win on 2 contracts. This is the second time this week I've accidentally put 2 in the market, which just the way this started was pretty sloppy. Look how blue the tape is. So let's watch this level get blown out. Should go here. Just a massive 218 block come in, and this is a high volume edge, so it's going to reject the price. You can see there's quite a bit of fighting here at this edge. Rejection again, so you can kind of see why I did what I did. Here we go back down. I mean, it's expected this high volume edge is going to be a problem. So it goes on for a while. I kind of just wanted to be done with, because these lower volume periods, I can only scalp a few ticks. Holding the long run doesn't ever seem to really work out unless I manage to really get in a good area. And if I get in the good area, I want some volume to push me away, so I have a bit of a cushion so I can let it ride with being in the money a little bit. But you can see it's getting pinched here with the size. That's generally a sign a big move's about to come when you see some pinching. But it doesn't go. It just starts to chop forever. So we're at 130. I had to exit the trade at 14. So this is another 15 minutes in the future. And now we're peeking through. Theoretically, I should have jumped on it. See, you can see that high volume edge is just holding very well. But, I mean, we're making higher lows here. That's kind of good, but doesn't matter. And then you got this thick layer just holding it down. So I'm not looking to make a play at all in this area. It's not worth it. And there it goes. And then this thing just goes to the moon. So really, I had a good setup there. I should have got in once we crossed the high volume edge, which I think I actually do. So let's go ahead and check that trade out. Yep, this is right when it breaks. So the next trade, the rest of these trades are on 1 contract. So the next trade's only 1 minute and 19 seconds. It's also a long. It only goes against me 1 tick. It goes in my favor 4. So we'll see how it is. It's a fairly well-executed trade. Why is this not working? Oh, it's because the volume sucks. I pressed play and nothing was happening. So a lot of sitting on the hands. This is what I want to see. I want to see us get through this high volume edge, and then I'll be interested again. I mean, like I said, I knew it would be a problem, and that's proof in the pudding, and then it got filled up in here, which I expected, because it's didn't go through this low node, so this thing is going to test the other side. I know that, but also this is a high volume edge. This is where I kind of doubted the trade and took only a little bit out of it. This is honestly right here. This is where I should have, because I thought maybe, you know what, it could bounce off this point of control. That does happen, so that's why I only want to hold it till then. But my concept proved true, and it goes to the other side. But that's a good sign. We're going one tick above where we've been for a while. I'm not going to take it right away because this could sink back in. So I take it there. I know this high volume edge is pretty solid. We got the size here. I want this high volume edge. This is sort of a resistant flip play. So now I'm managing it. We got quite a bit of blue tape that flowed in on that, so that's good. I got that 321 right there. That's great. This is only at 250. Aggressive buying. Got the block coming in. So that's good news. And no aggressive selling. That's great. The back ticking. I love it. Of course, it is absorbing it, but this is such high nodes that there's going to be quite a bit of absorbing in here, but that doesn't mean the move is over with. It's just what you see on the bid ask doesn't see. It took 519, and then what you saw on the ask wasn't necessarily. You have to get through just that. Naturally, there's going to be refreshing bids and asks in these zones. And yes, it's sort of iceberging, it's sort of absorbing, but it's not really absorbing to the point where there's going to be a reversal. And these are popular prices. People want these prices. So you got to see that the buyers are very confident. We're pretty stout here. The sellers are not being aggressive. Buyers are being aggressive, and buyers are confident in defending their level. I'm going to get out at the point of control because it is sort of a high volume edge. I know there could be issues here as well. Just an easy trade. 200 right there, the blue tape. We got a 200 block. I'm loving it. Bang, there we go. Again, you can see some struggling on this high node. I'll let it play out even though the trade is over with. Very easy trade. Wish they were all like that, but, you know. And there we go. We're already flipping through. I should have known by how aggressive the buyers were being. I should have held it. Look at that. Of course, it's going to struggle. Look at that. Very aggressive buying. Volume's really starting to kick in here. This high node is magnetizing it, but now we're above it, and that high node just couldn't pull it in. And that's just a sign that this thing's going to continue up. So when I think it starts to flag out right here. Yeah, it gets to this high volume edge, and then it starts to flag out, and then there's a push. So this high edge here catches it, and they try to defend it here. That 650 was there for a little bit. No? Guess not. Let's go ahead and get in the next trade because you'll be seeing what's happening at the top. The next trade's a break even. I don't remember why. It's a long 1 minute and 32 second duration. It goes in my favor 2. It goes against me 1. So give me just a moment here. Give me just a moment here. Okay, sorry about that. So this next trade, this is kind of looking like a breakout at the highs, buyers are clearly aggressive, but then again, this is an expected move. What it does is it goes up, it'll stall out somewhere up here, it could go through by a few ticks, and then reverse. But I'm looking to capitalize off of a few ticks up, because it's going to test somewhere near the high. What's interesting is this size it pulled off right here and it moved down to cap it. So that's sort of interesting. So a seller's being aggressive about their defensive position. I don't recall this trade, but we'll see what happens right here. So we go into it. It's not pulling, so it's somewhat firm. It hasn't been there that long. If I see a little more size or a little more aggressive buying into it, then it starts to cancel. That's a sign this is going to go. I like, see, it's not refreshing. Buyers are probing it. Some aggressive buying coming. Well, it's not really aggressive, just it's trickling in. Tape is full blue. Boom, look at that. Actually, I'm not even at the computer at this point. I was in the kitchen getting something. That's why I missed that. Oh, yeah, this trade doesn't play out for a little while. I just wanted to show you that. That's right, I wasn't here for that. Again, if I was here, if I was sitting in the hot seat, this would be a good play. It's just the tape's so blue. No aggressive selling really at all. Because you can see I'm not clearing out orders so clearly. I'm not sitting here because usually larger sizes intrigue me. So, and there it goes. Look at all those blue blocks coming in. Then immediately flips it to 701. Straight up flip at that point. I think at this point I'm screaming because I'm seeing this action. And then I should jump in the hot seat. You see the mouse goes nuts. I want some of this, but I can't just jump in because that might be the end of the move, and then I would expect a pullback to this point of control. We got quite a bit of size sitting up there, but I'm not sure what to do. I'm looking to short this size right here, but the order flow has to be just right. Because generally when you have a pop like that and is a small pop and it hits size, generally it'll pull back in through here by a few ticks, and then it'll reverse. So I'm looking to short it. Clearly it's not there. And I do go long on here. So that's firm. That's pretty firm. So I think I front run it. So I know that, you know what, that's pretty firm. We have the bounce. This could be a nice area to hold me up. So do I get in here? We got a lot of blue blocks on the tape. That's always beautiful. I just need more confirmation because I was away from the desk. I need to be sure that what I'm seeing, I'm believing. Problem is there's size up here. I try to get a limit here. You can see It's pretty firm. Here they go, testing up here again. I'm not going to chase it, even though it's away from me, because there's a probability that it may pull back in. And, you know, right there, that looks good. So it blows out. There's 500 sitting there. I immediately get the fill. So I was looking to play that. What you saw, I'll rewind it, explain it, not like a dumbass. So I want this if it pulls back in. Ultimately, I want this price if it pulls back in. And it very well could pull back in. But if we aggressively attack this 500, I'm going to have to be aggressive as well. It's very aggressive buying. It looks great. It looks fantastic. I know that we're going to at least bump into this 700 here, which we did once, but we should bump into it again, especially with that aggressive buying. In theory, and that 700's pulled off, so that's a fantastic thing for me for even more of a move. So sellers are clearly getting out of the way. Covering it, because I need to see it push. Look at this price. This is right here. This is sort of what absorption. Yeah, quite a bit. Sellers are sort of iceberging, but that's to be expected. It looks like I was trying to check out the stochastics. They're all overbought. They're all getting ready. This one's about to roll, but that means nothing. I want to see a test of that 710, 700 at the 230. It's not going. It's just not going. Here we go. You're seeing some major red here, some blocks. This is why I love tape, and this is why tape's important. Yes, these numbers flowing in tell me a lot, but I need to see the individual orders. And when I'm seeing larger sellers coming in, that's telling me that this could be the roll. And like I said, it will go through by a few ticks, and then it'll roll back in. This happens all the time, and they push out stop orders like this. I've been absolutely destroyed so many times trying to go for these particular breakout moves like you're seeing now that I don't fall for it anymore. I know that there's a high probability this thing could pull back in. What it does is it looks like a breakout, it smells like a breakout, it breaks out, but only by a few ticks. And the sellers are taking it all. Everything the buyers are throwing at them, the sellers are taking it, and now the sellers are starting to dish it out, as you can see in the tape. Got that blue block. This isn't over yet. How long does this trade last? 1:32. So I'm pretty cautious about it. It's not looking good, and this is what really keyed me off to get out. You have a triple layer of size sitting here. This thing is, it's shaped like a fist, actually, if you look at it. And that's, 712, 504, 594. That's pretty fucking serious for the market, because the average thickness is, 300s. Fours are a little bigger. I mean, the market's been so thick for the last several days that I'm used to 400, 500 being, generally I'm used to 4 and 500s being large orders. And just like yesterday, they were nothing. They were just like regular. So I had to look for like 7s and 800s for like larger size. And it's nice to see the market in its normal thickness. Because I can trade it easier like this. And the volume's just beautiful. I decided to get out of it. I had enough of it. It just doesn't look good. So that's where I get out, which was actually a really good call. Look how it just plummets in. So I just knew. I knew that this was it. Let me show you the exit again. Let's get that fist. I'm already out of it. Happens. It's such a quick trade. Yeah, I'm covering here. You know, I'm just these block orders. I don't like it. This right here, that's what keyed me off. This stochastic is rolling over. The 3 is about to roll over. It just, if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it must be a duck. And that's, it just, my bid is, even though I got the 420 there, I don't, just aggressive. Decide to queue in. Just falls in because there's that aggressive. Let me show you why exactly I executed this. Look at that 5. To see this 520 just comes in and we're trading at it. So that's not a good sign. That ask was pumping up. It's one thing if it pumps up and we're not trading it, but it's another if it pumps up while we're trading it. So that's not good. This 303, aggressive selling. We got the blocks. And we had quite a bit of absorption up here too. And just right here, it ticks down. I'm like, I got to get out of this because I lost confidence in it. It's just all that put together. These 2 large blocks, this pumping up while we were at it, a triple layer of defense, and all the absorbing up here because everything sellers were throwing at them, everything the buyers were throwing, the sellers were taking it. And my stochastics are rolling over. I don't like it. I'm not confident in it. If it's going to be a breakout, I'll get back in. I'm not going to marry this thing. So that was a divorce for sure, which it was a good one. Plus, it's a high probability it's going to roll anyways. So I know this setup. So that was a break even. That was a fantastic break even. Because I don't think I get a chance on it again. Actually, I do. Yeah, I don't think I get a chance on it again because I got out literally right when it went. So just jumped on the train right on time. The next one is a $50 trade. We love $50 trades. It's a point. This is a 7-minute and 58-second duration, the second longest trade. This is the first short of the day. Goes against me too, goes in my favor 5. The entry is just at 2 o'clock, which is what I think bonds close. That's when bonds close. I need to pay more attention than to 2 o'clock. Because generally when bonds close, you'll have an influx of volume. So I'm not sure what to do. I'm going to sit on my hands here. Clearly, this is holding up. And yes, daily report card. Should have said it at the beginning. Has been the same. It's been all week. Pick my risk zones, which I did for each and every trade. So I give myself an A on it, except for one trade, actually. Well, one of the trades, I think I don't. So I'll give myself a B on that. And I had to do a fade, which I did down here. I faded the down move, so that completed my objective. And I'm about to hit my objective for the second time, which is and it's not just a fade anywhere. It's a fade near the top or bottom of a fair market value area. So now you're seeing a lower high here. That's a sign this is going to roll over. This just stinks like rollover. The 1 minute stochastics looks like it's attempting a cross, like a bounce off the 70. I do see that at times. So see how I'm marking out that area with the mouse? This is my, I believe this is my stock zone, this 28 even. I'm actually, I think I'm showing my girlfriend everything with the mouse. Ah, that right there, that was it. See this creeping in? This is why the tape's very valuable. This is why the tape is extremely important. Because obviously I'm clearing out orders because I need a fresh view. Yes, older orders here mean nothing, but I need to constantly clear them out so I can see back ticking to give me a clue, a sign to get in. That's how I snipe my entries. But I still need this information. So I'm getting it from here, and I want to see if somebody's throwing in blocks. And sellers are throwing in blocks. I think this is one trader because they're just all clustered together. So this is a very big guy is defending this zone. It's probably the same guy who has the size sitting here who's trading this, because you've got to have a very large account to be able to do something of this nature. So that right there was my sign. Once I saw that come in, look, and then there's another one. I'm like, this is going to go for it. This is my stock zone. We're testing it. All this red, that is it. I don't care about anything else. But you know what? The stochastic's looking good on the 1 and 3 and the 5. 4 is short. I knew it was going to happen. It's just this one of them trades where I'm confident in it. I'm taking it. I'm going to hold it to 28.50, sort of I'm not going to take much risk on it, but all that large selling with everything that happened before that, it looks like this is it. This is the roll. I'm taking it. I got my target pre-planned. I actually think I get my target. Yeah, that's a point away, right on the high volume edge. That is because there's a high probability this is going to bounce here, which it doesn't happen. But all that, just that aggressive, those blocks, that is, we haven't seen that yet since I fixed the tape for this trading session. So yeah. Yes, there's back ticking, but I'm not too concerned about it. Okay? I'm not too concerned about it. There's a 362 is right here. So this is a high volume edge, and it's going to act as resistance now. Even though we chopped through it, we've gone through it enough that it's definitely going to help, but we are leaning on another high volume edged area, so it's going to be a little difficult to get through here. Got a lot of blue on the tape. We got a block, but it's nothing compared to what we saw with the seller. So this I'm okay with it. This is up to 428. That's great news. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Here we go. I think I'm yelling here we go at this point. Look at that, 312 versus 155. Beautiful. The tape is red. I'm discounting that block because it's just one block versus that cluster that came in this area. Here's another 125 block. This seems like whoever did this is the same person because they did it in the same zone. So this seems like a poor buyer is going to get ran the fuck over unless somebody's liquidating at this point. You never know. Even though there's back ticking here, it's all right. I'm holding this trade till my risk zone, period. So I just need that 3 to get out of there. Clearly, the sellers are absorbing. Here comes that 125 again. This is what's a little nerve-wracking is whoever this is keeps pumping this 125 in. I mean, it's got to be one guy because it's the same freaking number. It's like they just hit. That's what they have it set to. So it's an aggressive buyer who keeps throwing 125 at it. So naturally, that's going to hiccup the market. I'm a little nervous about that, but, I mean, other buyers aren't following suit at this point. I'm not seeing any other aggressive buyers come in. So I am leaning on my level. Bang, there it is. This is where I'm going to have to get out, but it's 412. Look, and that 3 came in and didn't pull off. That's good news for me. Boom, gets slammed down. I feel good about it. I feel good about it because it's doing this sort of pattern that I see happen all the time. It'll go through by one tick, get rejected, and try to test the other side. Basically what you're seeing right here, this how we tested the low of the profile and we came up to the high of the profile. It's basically happening on a smaller scale here. So, I mean, you can see it happen down here as well. Like, there's rejection here, and then it comes up and tests the other side, but then it gets stuck. And then it comes up by one tick and then gets rejected, and then it tests the other side. So that little jig, that back and forth jig is going to happen. And that, it looks good. It still looks good. Because that 436 is legit. As far as I'm concerned, it's also on a high volume edge, so I'm loving it. Now this 345 came in. Beautiful. I'm loving that too. Buyers are trying. Look at that 216. I think that's what got us up there. Strength meter's against me, but I hadn't cleared it out in a while. Stochastic's just about to be oversold, but we still have room before it crosses. It's going to go all the way through. Problem is this 3 minute can bounce right here on the 70, but again, it's just stochastics. It doesn't mean shit, and it's actually starting to roll here. Tape's pretty diversified right here. It's going to be a struggle to get through here. I know it is. I just know that patience. So I'm going up to my defensive zone. How long does this one go for? 7 minutes and 58 seconds. I get out. It's 2:03. I get out at 08. So this actually chops around in here quite a bit. Let's go ahead and... Ah, there it goes. Fuck. We'll go back to where it was because I guess that's right when the breakout happens. Wait a second. Did I attempt to get out right there? Sorry, I thought I saw something. Okay, so this should be right about. Is this it? It's a smaller bid, so that's always good. Here we go. This is a very small ask. I mean, now pumped up, but buyers weren't taking it. There's no aggressive buying, so... There we go, on our way down. Some poor bastard threw in 119. Look at that, followed by 2 big blocks. Clustered together. So that's a good sign for me. And then another 125. I think this particular 125 might be the guy that was originally thrown in 125s. I could be wrong. So clearly my level's being defended that I want to get out at. So this does play out for another 4 minutes. So I think I'm going to let it ride a little bit. Actually, let's... Because I know I'm going to get this price. I know I'm going to get this price. If it's going to bounce, it's going to at least come in here. So it does bounce back up. Quite a bit of blue on the tape, but they're just smaller orders. And I know it's going to bounce, and it's going to bounce and test my entry. Just the way this is sort of bouncing. And that's okay. So look, that's a bit nerve-wracking, that 461. So yeah, good thing. Yeah, this is, I actually remember this right here. So I'm a little concerned at this point. Look how blue the tape goes. So I'm like, shit, you know, what the hell am I supposed to, and it cancels off. So literally only 50 came in, and that all that canceled off. So it was bullshit. It was bullshittery. It was trickery, and it the buyers that wanted to hold it up and try to get other aggressive buyers in there, and then when they realized that it's coming back in, they canceled it off. Or it could have been a spoof. I don't know, but it was a bullshit order, and that confirmed my confidence once I saw that order cancel off. So you need to be looking for cancellations. You got to make sure nobody's hitting it. It's actual cancellations. So it is a higher node. It is going to be a little magnetic here. It's going to see again. It's going to chop around on this higher node. Strength meter's still against me. The 1 minute stochastic is not crossed, but we are in oversold territory, so this is going to be cutting it close, and that 3 minute looks like it wants to cross on the 70. But I'm going to hold it. I am going to hold it. Because I believe in it. I believe in this setup. This is my setup. I know what this setup is. And also, this is a problem right here in the sense that market got held up at this particular price previously. So getting through it's going to be a little tough. It's just, I know that. But, I mean, clearly sellers are more aggressive. Clearly buyers couldn't get in up here. So 1 minute, and then I will be out of this particular trade. And this whole time, it's very intense focus this entire time. So this takes a lot out of me because I have to process all of this information I'm calling out to you. This is stuff that I'm noticing and I have to process to make a rational decision. I'm basically trading what the market tells me. That is it. Yes, I do have my speculation for my target, but in the end, I am trading what the market is telling me. And this is it. It looks great right here. I know I'm going to get filled. I feel great about it. Aggressive buying's not happening. Boom, there it is. Beautiful. Just a beautiful, clean move, and then it just sinks in at this point. So, yeah, I could have definitely got a lot more out of that, but usually it bounces. If we have a clean break like we did down here, usually you'll have some sort of bounce. That wasn't the case. So Very good trading. I love the poker aspect of what was happening. Now I start to take on losers here. I'm going to lose that point I worked so hard for, and then I'm going to get it back. So there is a fairy tale ending to this trading day. So let's jump into this one-tick loser that lasts 46 seconds. So this will be a short one. It is a long. It goes against me 3, and it only goes in my favor 1. So this is an absolute crap trade. It is at 220. So what I'm seeing here, a little context, is it bounces here. This is a high volume edge. You can see that, remember, in the earlier trades, this was a problem zone. Here it is being support again. So keep that in mind. Tape is very blue. And the way the order flow was down here, it was so aggressive that just like the sellers are aggressive up here, the buyers are clearly being aggressive down here. So we're above the point of control. So I'm like, all right, this is the bounce. The bounce didn't happen at the point of control like I thought. And went through it a little bit. So this is it. This is should come back up, and at least if it doesn't go slightly higher and turn into a breakout, it's going to get rejected, or it can go up not quite as high but rotate back down. So there's really 3 scenarios that can play out here. It's kind of hard for me to describe, but this is a trade that I have to take because this is a playbook play. So in theory, the playbook play, this kind of has this Elliott wave effect to it, the way it goes, and then it bounces, and then I'm not exactly sure what the Elliott wave looks like, but it kind of, this is sort of a pattern I see happen all the time, and these are my patterns I've discovered, and I just know how it trades, and it all has to do with a distribution, whatever that word is, curve. So I'm looking to get in on the point of control at this point. I'm like, all right, we got through it. We ripped through it. But in theory, this is a higher node. It's kind of got a high volume edge look to it. It should hold up. Should hold up. Should hold up. This is my trade, and these are the way I want my, ideally, if I was the trader I want to become, I would buy here, sell up here, reverse, sell here, and then go back long again. So I'm trying to catch each of these waves. I'm not trying to nail tops or bottoms by any means, but it's always good to try. Because with the skills I have, I can generally make pretty damn good entries. But you're never going to nail it. You're never going to nail the entry right on the money. Sometimes you'll get a really good one, and it never goes against you, but for the most part, that doesn't happen. So it's really stalemated, a lot of quiet volume, and it just gets blasted, and I'm seeing block after block, red. I'm like, okay, it could chop in here. It could chop. This is sort of to be expected. I'm like, okay, I'm going to lean on this 507. If it goes through this 507, I got to get out. So I'm going to lean on that, let it bounce. But, man, I'm seeing a lot of red blocks, and that's not okay. it could chop around in here before it finally goes, but I just don't like that sudden attack. And when you see volume get real quiet like that, so I'm like, I gotta get the fuck out of this. This now is the VPOC. It goes sand colored. I don't care. I'm not going to attempt to get out here. I know that this VPOC is going to be traded into, so it's a one-tick loss. I'm taking it. I completely lost confidence in what just happened. And it's stalemating right now, so I may not even get that. So that's not good. I really want to get out at this point after seeing all that. And then those blocks, that's a lot of large blocks. I get it. That's great. I knew that there's potential I could get out there. And then, of course, it trades. Of course, it trades for a break even. But I just didn't like that sudden attack. So you got to understand why I took what I took. It could have got worse. Luckily, the size held here. I mean, clearly it was holding, and they freaking pinched the shit out of it right here, and it was basically a hamburger. So my guess is what was happening right here is this is a sort of a spoof. I feel like the buyers were capping it here and intentionally getting filled right there for a push up. But that's speculation. So on to the next trade. We lose even more. This is a 3-minute and 30-second duration. I go long. Lose 3 ticks. It goes against me 4. It goes in my favor 2. 234. This trade starts at 235. So a little context. This is where I took the one trade. Obviously, I'm glad I got out of it because look how the sellers got very aggressive, and look at all these large. Look at the heat map. It's been a very hellishly, just very volatile. A lot of volume just flowing in. A lot of large bid and asks are stepping up to try to defend levels. As you can see, this 769, this 646 sitting here. I wrote firm right here because this is solid. This isn't a spoof. This isn't fake. It is a solid support zone because of the size, not necessarily because of how the profile is. Yes, it is an edge. So that's good as well, but it's very firm. It's a firm bid. It's not going anywhere. And since it's firm, they're trying to really defend it by throwing in more size on top of it. You can see a lot of block orders are coming in like crazy. We're getting near the end of the day on a Friday, so people are getting the position, and you can see that firmness. It pulled off, and then it moved back up here at 8:45 to boost the market up. And then look at that aggressive buy order at 284, mostly blue tape. So buyers are pretty aggressive about what's happening here. That order further pulls off and moves up. I've seen this type of trade play out a lot. My trading with the whale video, you see this kind of large ask pull off and keep moving down, shoving the market. So I've seen this happen. So when I see that moving up, I'm like, okay, I got to take this trade. This could be the bounce I'm looking for. This could be it. We're going to go back up the highs. So what I tried to do in the last trade, I'm going for again. So I'm going to take it. I just need to see this get a little aggressive. It's stalling, which isn't good. It's a showdown. When no volume comes in and you have large size sitting like this, that's pretty firm, so I decided to go for it because we had that uptick, tick back down. But I don't feel good about it because it is just sitting against this large size. And yes, we had aggressive buyers, but the aggressive buyers aren't attacking at this moment in time. And usually when it's sitting against large size, that gets knocked out. So theoretically, I should have cut it a little bit earlier than what I do, and I knew better. And I just was feeling nervous about that. Bang, that went up to 978, so check this out. So once I see that tick back, I go for it, for the kill. Right there, that's my sign to get in. But I just don't like it. I don't like it because I think this gets knocked out at full size, actually. I think about 500 to 600 come in right here. We'll see. Yep, see, 582 came in. Obviously, 2 large blocks were associated with that. Check this out. You got 418, 417. So watch this. Somebody's trying to defend these 2 levels, and then all of a sudden that pumps up to 979. So that's a good sign. I believe in the buyers at this point. I'm like, okay, we got this. We took a huge hit on the nose. Yes, with that 600 get knocked out, but we're willing to defend this area. So this is a valid play. This is a valid play, but they don't always work out, and that's just that size gets moved up to where I'm at. So you see it gets canceled. I'm like, okay, here we go. This is the boost that I need, but it's not boosting it. I don't have that aggressive buying there. Here it comes a little bit, but it's not enough. It's not enough. Now it's not going. So there's a high probability this is going to get blown through again. And I just didn't like it. I'm like, man, we're throwing in these large sizes, but we're not having follow through on the aggressive buying. So that's just, again, when it's stalling on large size, it's usually when that large size flashes up like that, it should boost it immediately, but it's not happening. And when we stall on it, usually that gets knocked out. And something's telling me you need to get out. That ask is starting to pump up. You know what I'm saying? So clear out the orders again. Something's telling me get out. Just get out, get out, get out. Very low volume. This is waning. Not enough volume. It's such low volume here, and when that happens, this is like a showdown. It's kind of like, you know, how the Cowboys would go out in the middle of the street and have a standoff with each other in the Westerns. That's what this is, and somebody's going to shoot first. Bangers. That's good. But they're absorbing it. Look how 1,000 come in. 1,000 come in. Look at that 408 block. So clearly buyers shot first, but sellers are taking it. Sellers are taking it all. That is absorption. That is absorption. Right there. That is absorbing. That is absorption. I'm like, all right, I got to get out of this for a 1 tick. Don't even get the chance because I saw that absorbing. Don't even get the chance. Now I'm trying to get a break even. I got these large selling blocks. Buyers shot. They just couldn't handle it. And then sellers attacked very aggressively, knocking out most of that size. Large block orders coming in, I'm like, man, can I get that break even? I want to see that buyer flash that size. It's not happening at this point. So I got this 507, so my buyer's stepping up again. That's great. Very intense. There's an annoying song playing. I couldn't handle it. I needed to turn it down. There it is. There it goes. Look at that. Look at these large blocks fighting each other here. I'm leaning on this edge here. My size that was here is gone. So I'm kind of naked at this point. So I'm like, shit, I got to get out here. I just got to get out. I'm naked at this point. I'm realizing there ain't nothing down here anymore. And I'm not holding a loser all the way to 442 and just piss everything away. So I just need to see if this bid starts to pull off. We got the back ticking. It's pumping up. That's good news for me. Good news for me. Maybe I can break even or something of that nature. Look at these flip-flopping blocks here. Clearly, there is a huge battle going on. Not good. Got to get out. They just blew through that level I wanted to get out at. So I just get out of it. I get out of it. I'm like, all right, it's over with. Buyers lost that fight. And good thing I got out of it because it would just continue to get worse and worse and worse. And then where does it go? To this low node and it bounces. And who's defending it? Large size. Yes, I could hold on to it and let it bounce there, but you don't know. It could go through here. It could go through here. It very well could go through here. So it's not worth holding these things. Sometimes you just got to get out. I don't know if it's going to bounce or not. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is, but will it or will it not? Who knows? All right, time for redemption here. The final two trades. Get it all back. It goes against me 2. It goes in my favor 6. It's a 4-minute and 41-second duration short. And it starts at 2:44. Which is, yep, in 1 minute. So, okay, this is shortly after the big battle, clearly. This is, I decided to go long right in here because it's getting defended. I'm like, all right, it's not going to get through this level. It's going to bounce back up and at least test the point of control. And there's a high probability that when it does test the point of control, it's going to bounce back in and come back even lower and possibly blow through this low node, which that does happen. And it's just this pattern of the way the market trades. It'll test down here, go to the other side, come down. Sometimes it'll bounce off the point of control, go up. It may not go as high. It may go a little bit higher, or it may break through. Or sometimes it'll just stall out here, which it does. It trades quite a bit in here. That's what creates the roundness of the center section, because clearly it's going to be traded here. And then once it chops through, if there's a bounce at the low of the profile, now there's a very high probability it's going to bounce at the point of control and then come back in and probably go even lower than this bounce. I see it all the time. It's the same pattern, but the pattern kind of happens in a slightly different order. It's just the auction process. So it's getting sandwiched right here, getting a little, got the size. It's a high volume edge at 25.25 as well. And remember, this wasn't filled in, now it's filled in. Nice large block. 496 defending the high volume edge, I know. And then also we went through it by 1 tick and it got rejected, so that's a good sign. I'm not sure if I know what I want to do. So here we go. We're busting through. Do I go short? Do I really go short on that? Oh, it is a short. Oh, it's a short. So, never mind. Forget everything I said. I go short. Okay. Well, you know what? It's because we did bounce here before. We went through. Now we're going to test lower. That's what it is. So, shit. Everything I told you was wrong. Yay, present fat cat, because I take a good trade here. Look at that ticking in. That aggressive ticking in to test 25 even is a sign that I need to go short because this high volume edge is going to flip into a resistance zone. Boom, we're in there. Okay, now we're in there and we're in the area I want to play. Okay, look at that 400, that size is getting ate up. Quite a bit aggressive selling. Obviously, there's a block. That's good news. I'm gonna get in. I get in on the Q. I think I tried a market order in. Whoop! It looked like I actually tried to attack the next level, but it fills me. Good thing I did that. What does it go against me to? So I'm risking it to 26 even because it's a high volume edge. We got dual blocks here. That's good. So that just tells me that this low is definitely being attacked. Now look at these large size. It's not the world's largest size, but it's coming in to cap it and squeeze it down. Another large block on the tape. Yeah, we don't get through it. Why am I looking to get there? Because it's a high volume edge. It's a high volume edge. And I think I actually get it. That is exactly a point away. And I know it's going to struggle through here. Very aggressive buying here. You can see that block coming in. I got the 400s. Several aggressive red blocks. That's great. Buyers coming in to attempt to defend again. Obviously, the buyers lost up here. So the buyers definitely got their asses handed to them up here. So I know that because they really put up a pretty huge fight up what we saw earlier in the last trade. So I know that the sellers may still have that upper hand at this point. More blocks. Look at them blocks on the tape. Watch that tape rolling in. That's great news. We getting through the low node. We're kind of bouncing on the VWAP. Bouncing on the VWAP. Do I cancel off my order? I do. I canceled myself in the queue. 407 trying to defend it. Buyers are clearly trying to defend this, but sellers are so aggressive. Look at the tape. Watch the tape. Look at that large 400 that just pumped up right here. So they put in a 400. This is a pinch zone. So this is definitely another big fight. I love it. Love watching these battles go down. Buyers just can't get it. Their sellers are taking everything they're throwing at them. Looks like I moved my down here because it's a lower node, and I know that, you know, what I'm thinking is, you know what, I'm going to hold it because if it does, because in one of my earlier trades, you know, where I took one of the first ones or the second one where I held to the point of control, it blasted through it. I'm like, man, sellers are so aggressive right now. Maybe they'll blast through this point of control, kind of like what happened earlier. Look at those big buy blocks, but the buyers cannot get it because the sellers are taking it all. So that's sort of absorption right there. Of course, this VWAP's definitely an issue. Nice 242 on the block. It's bigger than that 100. I love it. We got that 500 sitting on 24 even. That's going to be a problem. It's also a high volume edge. My entry is defended by this 400. I'm loving it. Clear. Look at that big 319 there. Just because buyers are throwing big blocks, I'm not scared. My level's heavily defended by this high volume edge and the large size. It's just a good position. Good solid entry. Great position to be in. There's going to be a war zone in here. I know that. Look at all those 31s pumping in. That's probably one trader zipping them. Here we go. We got a sandwich. We got the 413. Pinch zone here. So sellers are very aggressive about defending their level. Look at that 500 and bumped up to 6. Look at that. It's getting aggressively attacked. It's at 468 now. $208. They're definitely it looks like absorption here on the buyer's behalf. I'm like, man, this is going to be very tough to get through. Now I'm watching where it's currently trading. Ask is pulled off. It's pumping. It's pulling off. Right on the tape. Right on the tape. It's only at 264 now, so they definitely fatigued the buyers there. This is it. It should go. Bang. They're throwing another punch at us with that 114 on the block. Now it's kind of getting tough here. Somebody's zipping in these 31s. Boom, there we go. There we go. That's good. But there's still this 3.8. Boom. So I'm confident that this might just go. It's looking great for more than a point. Obviously, it flashed 500. Now it's at 462. 600. Beautiful, beautiful. But the problem is what we saw earlier is there's this obscenely large size and it's not boosting the market. So I know this is going to get tagged. And at this point I'm like, man, I need to get the fuck out of here. Cuz see how it's stalling against this large size, it's going to get tagged. Same pattern we've seen several times in this trade review. Look at that 134. They are absorbing here. So they're clearly eating everything up. It's also a very high node. So this is going to be a huge issue to get through here. And my ask is starting to weaken up. There we go. That's good. I'm liking it. I'm like, all right, I might get my targets. Here we go. They're going for it again. We got the 127 block. It just, sellers are trying, but man, the buyers are wearing them out right here. They're taking everything. Just like the sellers took everything. And also, again, this is a high node. This is a high node. What happens is usually the first play of crossing the low node that was originally here, it's valid until you hit a high node, And then what's going to happen is going to start trading between these 2 point and controls and slowly start to build up in here. And this happens all of the time when the profile is set up like that. And it actually happens. You're going to see it happen. I decided to take it off because it's just weakening up so much. It went down to like 4. So again, watch how this ass pulls off. That's 400. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Back ticking, not good, and boom. So there it goes. It zips up. So I mean, yeah, I didn't get the ultimate low out of it. I didn't nail the bottom, but it was a solid, good trade. And I think holding it and taking it out where I did just made the most sense because the order flow confirmed it. And, you know, I wanted it to test this lower node here because I know that would be a big problem to get through here. So it was just a very well played. You know, I didn't get everything out of it I could, but it was still a solid trade in my eyes. So let's move on to the last trade. This trade actually scared the shit out of me. Oops. Okay, so we've got this 37.50. It goes against me 4. It goes in my favor 4. It is a 59-second long. So I'm back. Currently, I'm back at where I was after I lost it from these first 4 trades. So I am looking for a long at this point because I know that since we bounce off this point of control, we're going to go test this point of control. So we're on the high volume edge. Volumes all over the Richter scale. We had this massive push up, and then it came back in. I'm like, God dang. And also, it's like 2:52, so the market's going to close in 8 minutes. So it's getting pretty violent here, but I love trading near market close because I can do it. Some people think it's stupid, but I can do it. I can trade. Also, people don't trade news events, but I can do it. Yeah, like I traded that FOMC in one of my trade reviews, in my Playbook Play Part 2. I traded an FOMC event, and I knock it out of the park with a pretty big win on that one. I think over $100, $100 even. So that was an 8 ticker. Well, quite a few blue blocks coming in. I'm liking it. I'm waiting. I'm waiting because it got a little too violent for my likings. I just need to see what happens. And of course, it's going to get filled in here. It's going to bounce around in this low valley of the profile. Clearly, they're fighting with each other. It is close to people are liquidating, actually, you know. But also just the way the profile's set up, this would happen whether it's the close or not. So just waiting. I know there's going to be a huge move because it's getting real tight in here with a lot of volume. Got all these blocks. I'm looking at 903 is a little spooky, but it is near the close. So that's what scared me. I'm obviously in it. So we'll watch that again. I want this high volume edged price. So I'm trying. I'm like, all right, here we go. Here we go. We're inching our way up. It should immediately blow upward or try to come to this 600 right here. Now we got this 900. It's going to at least, in my eyes, it's going to test that. It's going to test that. And I'm like, boom, that's it. There's that massive, there was that rip that I was talking about. It does test it, but it happens so quickly. So quickly, and then all of a sudden it just juices against me. I don't like that. Lots of I'm like, crap in my pants. I'm like, man, I could lose everything I just fought for at this point, but I'm going to hold it a little bit because I'm going to lean on this high volume edge. It is getting tight in here. It could come back. It should come back because statistically speaking, this is going to work out. Now I got that 500 there. I'm like, ah, shit. So obviously I go place the target because I'm telling you that's where I think I'm going to go. But I'm placing one on the other side of this size. And it is stalling in here. Bang. They bang it. They bang through that. I think that whole part of that 200, that 500 canceled off. I'm just not liking it. Now it's creeped up to my entry. Right on my entry. Now it's absorbing on my entry. I freaking really don't like that. That 506 is capping, and I'm like, shit, now's the time to get out. I'll go, I gotta get out, I gotta get out. And then all of a sudden it's working out in my favor. I'm like, okay, this is good, but I gotta pull the trigger if this starts tapping into it again. Because I'm not riding through that shit again. I'm not taking, because usually, then boom. Usually when something like that happens to you, it goes against you, it'll come up right on your entry, and it'll give you a chance to get out, and then it'll go even further away. So know that if it doesn't immediately work out, I gotta get out of it. It just happened too many times. Too many times. Banging, banging, banging a Zorm, and I'm like, ah, shit, 500 capping me. Ah, shit, boom. I'm like, all right, I've got to break even if they get through this. I've got to get out at this point. It is maybe in my favor. What is it? I take 3, so I get the fill. I'm like, all right, it's going to test that price. Boom. There it is. And then it eats that 600 up. Should eat that 6. Nope. That 600 held firm. Let's see what happens at this point. What is this? 5 minutes till close. Does it get right up on that my target that I wanted? It's too volatile that I needed to. I'm taking lesser of a trade. That's the end of it. I do want to show you that something though. So look. So yeah, we test up. Wait a second. And that point of control moved. Actually, did that point of control move? Yeah. So it's at 26.75. No, it doesn't move. So we do go through it a little bit, and it gets rejected on the high volume edge. It's going to come through, and it's going to bounce off that point of control down here, and I know it is. And let me show you. Actually, it goes through that high node. The point of the VPOC moves downward, and then it bounces right on that low node, right on the money. That would have been the good long, and then it crosses back up, whereas it's stalling at the point of control again. So this is what I'm... Oh, shit. So I turned it off at that point. But yeah, what I said would happen, happened, and it happened. Whether it's a low volume time or a high volume time, the same sort of pattern happens. It just is, it either happens really quickly or it happens slower. So that's the trade review. I hope you guys liked it. I know that was a very long one, but man, there was some intense battles, and I fucking loved it. Best trading day of the week on a Friday afternoon, which are usually the shittiest. So have a